name is Yves Santello. My friends call me E, and my players call me Coach E. I coach basketball at Norman North, and I'm also a counselor at Norman North. I am the counselor for the freshmen A through K. Last name's A through K, right? So Yves Santello, most people look at me and they're like, what is that name? That's a weird name. Well, I was born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. For those of you, as a matter of fact, raise your hand if you've ever heard of Haiti. Have you heard of Haiti? Okay, got one, got two, three, four. How have you heard of Haiti? You can go ahead and blurt it out. How have you heard of it? From Haitian people. That's a good one. You just heard of it, maybe seen it on a map. You probably didn't see it on a map. It's very, very, very small, okay? And it's over there past Puerto Rico. Haiti actually shares an island with the Dominican Republic, okay? And that's where I'm from. That's where I was born. So in Haiti, only 25% of the whole island have power on average. And those that have power, they typically lose it 2 to 3 times a day. If they lose it for 1 or 2 times a day, then it'll be for a more extended period of time. So there'll be times where you can lose power for 30 minutes. There'll be times where you can lose power for 3 hours, you name it. Okay, so for us that love power, we just use power, we don't even realize what we would do without it. Some of the most fun I've had was during the blackouts. Okay, that's what we call them. So when we have blackouts in Haiti, okay, we have to light our candles at night, and most of the time people are just out on the streets using the moonlight and using the stars as a light, right? My most enjoying time during the blackouts is playing hide and go seek. Think about it. No street lights. Nothing. All you have is just the moonlight. So we play hide and go seek. And it's you name it. It's probably like you're hiding under your bed, it's so dark. And I found the best hiding spots. The way I knew when the lights came on, sometimes they would come on during our hide and go seek games, sometimes they wouldn't. But when they would come on during our hide and go seek times, everybody in the town, everybody in the neighborhood would go, yay! And wherever I was, I'm like, oh, the light's back on. And I would have to either go hide somewhere else or I would probably get caught, okay? And that's probably my favorite memory of Haiti is just those hide and go seek times, okay? So fast forward, I moved to America. I was about 7 years old. I was about 7 years old when I moved to America, okay? Mind you, in Haiti, just about everybody looked like me, okay? Everybody had dark skin. Everybody just pretty much looked like me. So I moved to America. Now I'm being introduced to a whole bunch of different walks of life, a whole bunch of different people. And to me, it was great because I'm a people person anyways. I like to meet new people, okay? And so I moved to America. I'm like, wow, these are white kids. Wow, there's other black kids. Wow, this person's an Asian. That's pretty cool. Like, for real. So I'm meeting these people, and it was just the best thing ever. Unfortunately, I did not know I was going to experience hate from black kids. I did not know I was going to experience hate from white kids because, again, where I'm from, everybody looked like me, okay? So where I moved to in Florida, Orlando, there was major beef going on between Haitians and the black kids. And so having been a kid who didn't speak any English, I didn't speak any English, they pointed me out with the quickness. And one day I was walking home from school. This was in elementary school. I was walking home from school. It was me and 2 of my other buddies and my female cousin. And it was about 9 or 10 kids, 9 or 10 black kids following us. And eventually they started talking what I perceived, because remember, I didn't speak very good English, right? They started speaking what I perceived to be threatening words to me and my buddies, me and my cousin and my other 2 Haitian friends. So what happened was my 2 Haitian friends, they ran, okay? They clearly spoke enough English to know to run. I didn't. So they ran, they left me behind, and I got jumped by about 9 or 10 black kids because I was from somewhere else, okay? So that was one of the things when I moved, it was just like, okay, this is not gonna work. I'm gonna need to figure out where I belong because I didn't do anything to deserve this, right? So finally, I start trying to find out, where do I fit in? Where do I belong? And where I ended up finding some friendships and some relationships was with the Hispanic and the Latino kids, because most of them had moved to America in the recent years as well. So English was also not their first language, okay? So now I had a group of friends that I could sit with. Now I had a group of friends that I could belong to, and eventually they would ask me to join their gang. Luckily for me, I was too stupid to know what a gang was, and I did not partake. I did not join their gang. That was one of the single best decisions that I could have made, just because I probably would not have been here talking to you guys today had I decided to join their gang at that time, right? So by this time, I'm in middle school. By this time, I'm in middle school, right? So I'm in middle school, I'm getting bigger, I'm growing a little bit, my English is getting better, okay? And the one thing about making friends, once you start making a couple, you start making more, okay? And so now I start making friends with the white kids. Now I start making friends with the black kids. And all the while, these other friends that I've made, not all of them were bad, okay? But these other friends that I've made, they started pushing me out of the friend group because I did not join their gang, okay? So I'm in middle school, I'm making other friends, it's fine, I'm making other friends, and boom, kids asked me to play basketball. Hey, you wanna play basketball? At this time, I'm 6'4" right now, by the way. So in middle school, I'm probably, I don't know, I'm head and shoulders over everybody else, okay? Just say that. I don't know how tall I was, because I didn't understand the metric of being 6'4", 6'3", or what height meant, because we just didn't measure our height, I guess, in Haiti, okay? So I didn't know how tall I was. I just knew I was taller than everybody else, and the kids also knew I was taller than everybody else. So they asked me to play basketball. And in Haiti, soccer is our sport. We play soccer. So they asked me to play basketball. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm not interested. And they look at me like, what? You don't play no basketball? You don't play no basketball? So they started looking at me with such disgust that I'm like, you know what? Wait a minute. All right, fine, I'll play. So I decided that day I was going to play basketball with those kids. And to my dismay, it was probably the most fun that I was going to have from that day forward with the game of basketball, okay? So then that day I decided, you know what, basketball is fun enough. I'm big enough for it apparently, so I'm gonna play some basketball. So this was in middle school, probably 8th grade. They asked me to play basketball, and I kid you not, by 9th grade, I thought I was Michael Jordan already. I thought I was LeBron James already. What's your favorite player? You like basketball? No? Who's got a favorite player here in basketball? Just blur them out. Kobe. LeBron. Who? I heard somebody over here. You said Kobe? Oh, we got a lot of Kobe fans. Okay. Well, I thought I was him. Very next year, I thought I was Kobe Bryant. So I go out for my freshman team. My very next year, and about 60 kids go out for this basketball team. So the very first day, our tryout was outside. That's how many kids it was. Our tryout was outside. I made it past the first day, so they cut it down to about 40 kids. Then we moved it to the gym at the big high school. I went to a 9th grade center. A 9th grade center means that the 9th grade was completely separate from 10th, 11th, and the 12th grade main high school, okay? So I went to this 9th grade center, and so they moved the 2nd and the 3rd and the 4th tryouts to the main high school. So they cut it from 40, then they cut it down to 20, Or maybe they cut it to 30. Then the next tryout, they cut it out to 30 or 20. And finally, we get down to the last cut where they cut it down to 14, 15-ish, something like that. And they cut me. I thought I was Kobe now, remember that, okay? They cut me. At that point, I was so hurt. I walked home probably 30 minutes, and the tryout was from like 6:30 to 8:30, so I'm not getting home till after 9, and I was so hurt. Only to find out, one, okay, I just wasn't as good as I thought I was, and two, I did not have the grades to even make that team if I was good enough. Didn't even have the grades. At that point, my freshman year, I had a 1.7 GPA. Do you know what that is? Raise your hand if you know what a 1.7 GPA is, okay? Some do, some don't. Let me explain it to you. A 1.7 GPA just meant that if I had 6 classes, okay, probably half were Fs and the other half were Ds. That's just a rough estimation, okay? I didn't like do the math in my head or anything like that. Just know I wasn't passing any classes. If I had a paper, it probably had a bunch of sad faces on it, okay? All my papers probably came back with upside down faces. And so having realized like, okay, maybe I make that team if I have better grades, maybe not. But I knew for a fact that I needed to work on my grades if I wanted to try it out again next year. So my freshman year, my ninth grade school was so bad that the city had granted everybody from Evans 9th grade center a transfer to any school neighboring Orlando. That's how bad my school was. So, for example, okay, if Norman's 9th grade was so bad, the district would have given everyone in here the opportunity to go to school in Moore, Noble, okay, Oklahoma City, Purcell. They would have said, fine, go anywhere else. Okay, our school grade was an F. Our school grade was an F, and you know what, if I look back, I'm pretty sure they don't even have that school anymore, okay? So my 10th grade year, I ended up transferring to another school called Apopka High School. And at Apopka High School, I knew from day one, I absolutely needed to do a lot better in school. They said the GPA was a 2.0 that I needed. By golly, did I get a 2.0? Did I get that? Do you think I got that 2.0? Yeah. Do you think I got that 2.0? Yeah. I got that 2.0. All a 2.0 is just an average student. You're getting an average grade. So if a C was what I needed, then a C was what I got, because that's what they asked me for. Later on, I realized, you know what, if they had asked me for an A, I might have gotten that A, because that's how much I wanted to play. If they had asked me for a B, I might have gotten that B, because that's what they asked me for in order to play basketball at Apopka High School, okay? So that brings me up to speed on why I'm actually here today, okay? I ended up making that 10th grade team, okay? So I got cut my 9th grade year. I was probably 13 or 14. I graduated early, okay? I graduated at 17 years old. So I think I was 13 years old as a freshman. But I ended up making that team at 13 or 14 years old, however old I was. And I did not get cut from another team until I was 25 years old. Okay, I'm 31 right now, so that's not even that long ago. I did not get cut from another team until I was 25 years old, okay? So in between that time, I used school to get me to play basketball. Then I used school to help me to go get a associate's degree in college, a bachelor's degree in college, a master's degree in college, okay? And somebody said, dang, I almost got a doctorate degree. Okay, almost, and I can prove it. I have the credits for it, but I did not have the finances to finish that doctorate degree, and that's a story for another day. But that's how far that school ended up getting me, okay? How did it do that? Because at some point, I made the shift mentally to think about school differently. Okay? I started thinking about school differently than most. Okay? Because a lot of people, they want to have you believe that school is about math, science, social studies, and all those things are important, right? But it's deeper than that. It's more about what lessons can I learn from school that I can apply to the real world. Okay? So the problem-solving skills you'll get in math, science, social studies, and whatever else are things that you can directly, and I mean directly, apply to the real world. For example, when I made that basketball team my 10th grade year, that focus, I mean, if you're getting all bad grades first and foremost, it takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of effort to go from doing zero, absolutely nothing, to turning in as much assignments as you can, right? So I use that same energy and effort that I put into making those better grades. I took that and I put it into becoming a counselor that's standing in front of you today. Okay? And raise your hand if you think I like school. Raise your hand if you think I like school. Raise your hand if you think I don't like school. Okay? I hated school. Oh my gosh. I despise school. I did because I didn't understand school. I didn't understand what to get out of school. I'm just being honest with you. I didn't like it. But I also didn't have somebody come speak to me like I'm here for you today to tell you, you know what? You're looking at it all wrong. It's how you're choosing to look at it. And I chose back then to look at it as a waste of my time. I didn't choose to look at it as a vehicle to get me to where I want to be in life. I didn't choose to look at it as a tool to get me to what I want to be in life, okay? School is like a hammer, and whatever you want to be is like that nail. Can you nail something in without a hammer? Sure you can. Sure, but it might be a little harder. Hey, true story. I once couldn't find my hammer, and I tried to nail a hammer with my wife's butt of her shoe, and one, I about busted my finger, and two, it did not work, okay? Because I did not have the right tool. Oh, I'm serious, because I'm the type of person I thought if I couldn't do something one way, I was going to try to find a way to do it elsewhere, okay? And I bring that up to say, yes, you can do things different ways, but you absolutely could do it more efficiently if you have the right tool. So I'm going to get a couple questions from you guys, okay? I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions. What do you want to be right now? Today is January 25th, 2021. Raise your hand if you know what you want to be already. What's your name? What is it? Zavari. You want to be a football player, so NFL? Okay. Don't laugh at my chicken scratch. What's your name? What is it? And you want to be? A geologist. Ooh, love it. Geologist. Okay. I'm going to put geo because I know what that is. What's your name? Sawyer. What is it, Sawyer? Yeah. And you want to be? NFL. All right. I'm going to write that down again because we just got a couple of those, right? NFL. Write it a little bit better this time. What's your name in the Adidas jacket? Okay, and what do you want to be? Okay, so NBA. What's your name? Yep. And what do you want to be? Okay, WNBA. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I actually know a WNBA player, or she used to be anyways. Yep, her name is Nikki Teasley. Look her up. What's your name? And what do you want to be? Marine biologist. Okay? Marine bio. Get a couple more and I'll move on. My man in the white mask. Medical what? Mechanical engineer. What? I can't even spell mechanical. Just kidding. Right there. Yep, Southmore. Your name? Your name is not zoologist. Maya, and you want to be a zoologist. I'm going to get a couple more from over there, okay? All right, red pants. Austin. Boston, and you want to be a ghost hunter. All right, I'm going to put it on here because it doesn't matter what you want to be, okay? I'm going to put it on here. Ghost hunter. I bet they're out there. And last one. Emma. And Emma wants to be a softball player. Softball. Okay? So, these things that you want to be, okay? Say this is a start. I'm going to move out the way in a minute, okay? And the finish line is where it is you want to be, okay? Do you think this road here is accurate and explaining your path to what you want to be? I hear some no's. How about this? Raise your hand if you think this is an accurate depiction of what you want to be. Raise your hand of the road that you want to take. Okay, got a couple? Raise your hand if you think that's not an accurate road to what it is you want to be. Okay? And those of you that didn't raise your hand, you're like, I'm not sure. Raise your hand if you're just not sure. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. So this is what we think in our minds when we're like, I want to be an NFL player. I want to be a WNBA player, geologist, a ghostbuster, right? This is what we think. We think it's just a start line and a finish line, okay? But in reality, what you want to be is going to look a little bit more like this, okay? It's going to look a little bit more like that. All right? So it's going to be a little bit more like that. So it's very important how and what you use to get to where you want to go. Very important. Okay? So if this is my start line and all these things are my finish line, okay? Yes, you could probably get to the NFL without school. But just go ahead and add a couple more squiggly lines to that. Yes, you can probably be a ghost hunter or a softball player without that. But without school, add a couple more squiggly lines to that. Add a lot more. Okay, if you want to be a zoologist, it's probably possible. But add some more squiggly lines to that. Okay, so the point that I'm trying to make is when you have school, okay, and when you use school, okay, it won't ever look like this, but you can take away some of those squiggly lines, okay? Your path will be a little bit more direct. It'll be a little bit better. Yeah, sure, we have roadblocks along the way, sure. But if you're able to use school and think about school differently, then your path will be a little bit more direct. Okay? So, last point that I want to make. Okay? Do you know what a transcript is? We know what a transcript is? Okay, a transcript is basically the piece of paper that's going to show you all your grades from freshman year all the way to senior year when you get to high school. Okay, and you'll also have a transcript when you get to college. Okay, and that transcript will show what type of student you were. It will show if you were a great student. It has nothing to do with you as a person. Okay, you can be a great person. What kind of student you were. That will be on your transcript. Okay, so if you were a great student and you got straight A's, you can kind of look at that transcript and equate it or make it equal to the type of bank account you're going to have. Okay? Why do I bring that up? Because right now we're in school during work hours. So typically, most of your parents are at work, and this is kind of your version of work right now. You're practicing right now, aren't you? Right? Is this practice for when we become adults? Pretty much. Okay? So whatever you get, so if you're getting hundreds on your papers, and if you want to be an influencer, who has TikTok? Okay? I have 100 million followers on TikTok, by the way. Just kidding. I knew that would get you. I just knew. If you want to have a bunch of followers on TikTok, if you want to have a bunch of subscribers on YouTube, if you want to have whatever it is you want to do, you can use your level of focus in school to do just that, okay? You can use your level of focus on your papers that if you get good grades, I guarantee you'll know how to go do the research to see what I need to do to get 100,000 subscribers. What do I need to do to get 10,000 followers? Because it's out there, but if you know how to use that focus, you'll be able to do it. You want to be a zoologist, you'll use that focus. You'll use that focus all the way through school to become a zoologist. For my sports players, my athletes, if you want to be a WNBA player, NBA player, NFL player, softball player, volleyball player, you'll be able to use that focus that you're able to put in school, and you'll put that into your game as an athlete. You're probably like, that's not the same, that doesn't equal. Yeah, if you're able to have that focus, you'll put that same focus that you put in the classroom into whatever it is you want to do. So, my message for you guys today is, how are you thinking about school? How are you choosing to think about school? Are you choosing to think about it as, you know what? Boring. A prison. Yeah. Unnecessary torture. Hey, those are all the ways that I thought about it. Those are all the ways I thought about it until I found something to shift my focus. So what's going to be your thing to shift your focus? Okay? Don't answer that just yet. What's going to be your thing to shift your focus? What's that thing that you're going to take your effort, your focus, your level of intensity from school? What's that thing that you're going to be like, okay, if I use this level of intensity from school to here, I can be what I want to be? What's your thing? I want to come back and talk to you guys soon, okay, on a less official basis, and I want to ask all of you, have you done your homework? Have you thought about what it is that you can do? We don't get homework. I'm giving you homework right now. What do you mean? Yeah. You got homework. Okay? So, school is a tool. It's the bike you ride. It's the bus you ride. It's the car you ride. It's the shoes you put on to walk from point A to point B. Okay? This is how we need to start thinking about it. And if you do that, all right, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. You guys were a very, very attentive group, and I appreciate you guys for listening.
Yeah. Sound good, don't it? Check. Look. Okay. Life tried to drown me. This hoop is like my life jacket. This ice in my veins is sunk the Titanic. Lockdown defense kept me out the center for detention. Divine intervention passes over to my center. Alleyways are the alley-oops. Some got no looks and passed away when somebody shoot. Back in court duo, but nobody hoops. The wrist follow through in the cuffs. Got a loop, pick a book up, picked up and get booked. It's just you and I, out running suicides. Me, I was out running suicide. Boy, I'm going in, dropping gems that I picked up in these gyms. I can't slack, I've been down and back. I'm just trying to share a few tales from this thing called life. Count my assists, man, I swear that basketball really saved my life. Yeah, yeah. I swear it saved my life. Let's go.